this is impact of thrombus on neointima, restenosis, and flow. And I think that the question is, thrombus is no longer an acute or subacute issue, thrombotic occlusion, but is still a chronic issue, late luminal loss. So that's the question we are going to try to resolve. And then, if we have time, OCT visualization in vitro endoluminal deposition of paclitaxel, a step toward the clinical assessment of drug transfer with DCB in human. And that's followed very well the discussion of Azim. So this is what we saw basically in 2022 when we did the TRANSFORM trial. You see an angiography which is not suspect to be massively dissected, but when you do the OCT, you realize that the vessel is massively dissected. And you see the percentage that we published at that time, angiography 11.4%, and OCT 97.2%. So mechanism of balloon angioplasty and DCB is fractures of the structures. I mean, what is very important is that we have to quantify that. And it's interesting because if you look on the left-hand side, that's the manual fellow making the contours, and he will take basically 60 minutes to make all these contours because the company, Abbott and others, have not created software to look at something which is different from circular of elliptical. This is a crescent-like. Now, on the right-hand side, we have the AI that we have been working on, and you could see that within 1 minute, you could see the time running, the AI will be almost perfect. I will show you that by quantifying exactly the lumen of this vessel post-predilatation and pre-drug coating balloon. You see the quality of the contour there made by the AI. Why I'm telling you that it's good quality? Because, as I said, 60 minutes versus 1 minute. Because what you apply in AI is what we call the dice coefficient between the second and third iteration, every time we give information about the ACT that we have seen. And the dice coefficient is a statistic measure that determines the similarity between two sets of data. If it's 1, it's perfect. If it's 0, there is no overlap. And on the right-hand side, you see that after the third iteration, and you see the pictures of Professor Dijkstra, we are working with him, the dice coefficient median was 0.990. An interval is 993 and 9907. That means only 7 frames out of 10,221 frames were below this coefficient of 0.7 for the AI. Good. Let's shift gear. We have been at length describing dissection in the TRANSFORM trial. Now we look at something different. In the TRANSFORM trial, you had the post-predilatation, pre-DCB OCT assessment, then you have randomization, and then you have angiography at 6 months. And you see that in these 97 patients with 104 lesions, we saw in 41% of the vessel thrombus. And that's something new for me in the field of DCB. Look at the pictures. Let's start at 349 in the lower corner there. You see the dissection. But at 347, 346, 345, and so on, you see a small thrombus coming. And basically, this thrombus is attached at the tip of the flap of the dissection. And the yellow arrow in 340 should basically what we call an erosion. There is a thrombus which is luminal. And let's look more specifically to the pictures 340, no, the next one, the 332. Because then you see a thrombus with a red arrow, which is in the cul-de-sac of the dissection cavity. That's new for me. So what happens basically every time you do a balloon angioplasty is the fractures is always located at the site of the thinnest layer of fibrotic intima. You could see the number 372 micron. It's not the plaque which is going to fractures, it's the opposite side, systematically. If you look in the quadrant 2 and 3 and 4, the thickness there is more important. And you could see that the calcium and the lipid is at the opposite side of the dissection. And you see that our algorithms work quite well to detect the